Yes, there was no consensus about the definition of a family. I know many good number of teachers, scholars are sitting before me. You might have come up with a sociological definition which is found in class 2, lesson 1. What is a family? Am I right? Second class I am talking about. Kadan, you have your own definition. But does that definition has a consensus? Does it has a cosmic consensus or a global consensus? No. Secondly, family is universal. Most of the societies have the structure of the family, which has the economy, the state, religious community, culture, education, organization, so on and so forth. To understand, for the better comprehending understanding of the family, I just talk elaboratively. First, we need to understand the structure of the family. What is the structure of the family? Normally, you used to say, "Hum do." Isn't it? "Hum do." Hamare.
No.
Chapparasa, you are quite serious because of weather. Huh? Come on, at least smile at me. "Hum do." Earlier it was "Hum do hamare das." But later on it has become "Hum do hamare do." And what is today's slogan, you know?
एक हम दो हमारे एक
No.
Latest slogan. Come on, you need to refresh yourself,
Me,
update
my,
yourself.
myself.
Ama?
Me, myself.
Me, by myself. That is Aham Brahmasmi. Today's slogan is "My ek, Hamara ek." The whole world is running after it. My ek, Hamara ek. Don't get your hearts be troubled, but this is the reality. But dear friends, until and unless we get an absolute understanding of what a family is, it becomes quite miserable for us to live in peace in the so-called family structure. Because we need to come out of the traditional understanding of the family which someone has defined, some fellow has decided, and we are forced to live in someone's definition and in someone's decision. Because it is not that fellow who has decided what a family is where we are supposed to live in. Our state is different, our environment is different, our cultural settings are different, our sociological understandings are different. Above everything, the context is entirely different in the place where you live in. Until and unless you are convinced of this greater practical reality, it becomes miserable for every one of us to live under one roof with the so-called XYZ's definition. This education is a needed education for every single individual in the society. For the last 10 years, I've been wheeling and my authorities in the church. I've been asking people, please allow me to start a premarital counseling at free of cost in the twin cities of Hyderabad. Because I know what it is. Before one enters into the state of a marriage, which goes till the last breath of a human life, We need to prepare the human beings to tussle and tackle about a new system wherein two new different individuals are trying to get in. Without this preparation, everything becomes messed up. It is a chemistry. I always talk, marriage is a chemistry. If anything goes wrong, it's really, physics madam is just laughing at me. If anything goes wrong, its reaction would be much worse. Please treat marriage as a chemistry. Handle with care. What is inside? Normally we say, handle with care, glass inside. But I would say, handle with care, hearts inside. Much sensitive than glass. You need to be equipped with the skills, knowledge and wisdom to handle this system. This family, it has a structure. In a family, we find couples without dependent children. We find married people. We find unmarried people. We find singles. We find parent, family household. We find people who never gets married. We find people separated. We find people divorced. We find people widowed. We find two-parent family households. We find people not married, the first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, foster family, adoptive family. There are estranged family, nuclear family, extended family, joint family. There are generational households, none, one, two, three, multiple wage earners. This is the structure of the family. Now we need to check in which structure are we setting. Until and unless you doesn't know what is the structure of the family that yours is, you will never try to behave in a harmonious way. Our neighbor's family is not the family like us. Our family is entirely different. Their family is entirely different. Therefore, don't apply the same principles that they are applying. Then it becomes operation success, patient dead. Khatam, full stop. Gayab. Khatam. Therefore, our family is our family, our problems are our problems. Therefore, apply your own principles to your family. Don't copy it. It becomes plagiarism. And you're out of examination. And my dear friends, secondly, there is life cycle stages in family that we need to understand, which I'm not going to touch. And there are family contexts. It's a big subject, ocean. Family is an ocean. And thirdly, I'll come back to a very important thing, that is, what is a family? Again, the basic fundamental question. What is a family? As I told you, it is not about, and consensus definition is not found under the clouds. The word family, for the first time in English, is being coined in the 15th century from a Latin word, familius. It means simply servant. Simply, when you are talking about a family, you are talking about the servanthood. Full stop. This is one of the major crises and the challenges for the breakups of today's generation and families. The common complaint as a counselor I get is, Pastor, sir, the members of the family are treating me as a servant in their house. My esteem is being hurt. Therefore, I cannot be mistreated as a servant. I have decided to depart. But the fundamental understanding is, when you say this is my family or this is our family, you are bound to remember, or you are bound to the duty of servanthood among other servants. There is no master in a family. If there are 4 people in a family, 4 servants have come together to serve one another. This is the definition of a family. You are a servant, full stop. Neither you are submissive nor you are superior. You are bound, you are bought in a family to serve one another, whoever it may be, whatever it may be. Serving, how? Serving with nishkama karma. This is second important thing in the familyhood. Let us not expect anything in return, full stop. You are a servant. God has put you in that family that to serve those people who are placed amongst you, full stop. Secondly, God has given lots of options. So, for example, if you want to have a counterpart or a spouse, we have an option. You can express your will. If you want to have a friend, you have an option. You can make friendship with X, Y, and Z. But the only thing that you don't have the option is, one is the parents to whom you have to bond. It's not in your hands. It is in the hands of God. God knows pretty well in which family, in which house, in whose womb you have to take birth. He has decided. And I am sure the decisions of God are always good. You have no option. Therefore, not taking the behaviors of the parents in whatever way, in whichever way they behave with you, probably they misbehave with you, doesn't mind. Take care of your own behavior. Serve them because God has given them to you. Full stop. And secondly, you have no choice of picking up the siblings. This is another greatest problem. Always we have the enmity and the rivalry with the siblings. It can be a brother, it can be a sister, whoever it may be. But siblings are also God's choice, my friends. Trust in it. Please trust in it. When God has given you, I am sure He has given you the best. For the sake of, I quote and unquote, silly things like property, or things like inheritance, please do not mystery with your siblings. Leave it to their prudence. But let not your behavior be corrupted. Trust in God. You have never seen your sibling. You have never asked God. You have never made a choice of your siblings or the parents. It is God who has given you. Therefore, it is God who is going to take care of all the issues that are being raised within the family. But you don't lose your patience, you don't lose your faith, you don't assassinate your own character. And still, my friends, the question of family is always stand still. Common definition of the family is something which evolved over the cultures, is people coming together. In contrast, today the definition has already changed. Today, once upon a time, the family was the father, the mother, two children. Sometimes in Indian context, it is a joint family. That was a family where we used to think of. Today, in contrast to this tradition, now it includes different structures. As I've told you, single parents. Miss World Aishwarya Roy or Susmita Sen is one of the women who is well known. And John Abraham, one of the celebrate from Bollywood. Today people are opting for the single parenthood. They want to live, they want to adopt either a son or a daughter or children. And secondly, we have a family of same-sex parents. It could be lesbians, gays, or it could be a transgender. In the recent past, I have read an article that Church in England has accepted the lesbian marriages. It has made legalized. Now the church is performing the same-sex marriages in England, and the same within India. Hope you are aware of it. The Honorable Supreme Court of India has legalized the same-sex marriages. And we have extended families. And because of Corona, today we have virtual families. And also we have chosen families. See how the scenario is getting changed. It's a drastic change. It's a drastic change. Until and unless you accept this reality, you are not going to live in peace. And you are not going to allow others to live in peace. The problem is not only for oneself, my dear friends. Until and unless you update yourselves, the problem will also extend to the others also. Therefore, if you are really the lover of peace, and if you want to become peace for others, please adopt and accept the changing reality, no other. In this scenario, I always encourage my pastors and I always tell them, here comes the work of theology. These are the new challenges which 2000 years ago we didn't have. There was no virtual family in the Bible. Now it becomes the work of a theologian to extract and to find the reasonable, rational meaning for the new adopted challenges and to educate the people of God so as to combat with the contextual challenges that comes on our day-to-day life. And I'm coming at the closure end now. What is a Christian family? I was dealing with family, structure of the family, definition of the family. I have come at the closing point now. What is a Christian family? It is as simple as it is a family that is built on the faith principles of Jesus Christ is called as a Christian family. Then the scripture portions that has been read to us. deals with the issues of the family. Book of Joshua, I call it as Vashishta Kutumba. It's a Vashishta Kutumba, Joshua. He reflects the Middle Eastern staunch, strong system tradition of the family. That is Vashishta Kutumba. When it comes to the book of Mark, a beautiful narration. Jesus Christ was dealing with his own siblings. He has become a VIP, or sometimes he has become a celebrity because lots of masses are around him, isn't it? So it has become quite difficult for them even to say hello to her own son. Then they have to send a card. Please give this card to your master, so that ask him to give us an appointment. Jesus must be very, passionately, he must be preaching, teaching, discussing, debating, because he is a Galilean. That we should not forget. In the recent past, I have made a video on his education of Jesus. I have made a video. If you are interested, please see my YouTube. He is a Galilean, we should not forget. So he was doing in a natural discourse, he was doing, and some fellow has come and whispered in his ear saying that, Master, your mom has come. Your brothers are also saying, sisters are also come. Yes, they want to say. Then, astonishing, the reply of Jesus.
Who is my mother?
He said, what was his response?
Who is my mother? Who is my brother?
That is Vasudeva Kutumbam. One is Vashishta Kutumbam from the book of Joshua. Gospel Vasudeva Kutumbam. That means, I always say, Jagamanta Kutumbam Nadi Ekaki Jivitam Nadi. This is the principle of Mark. It is a Vasudeva Kutumbam. The family, earlier it was bound within the four walls. Jesus has made it as a universal family, cosmic family. Therefore, our responsibility is being made very universal now. Our response is also made to the cosmic now. We cannot confine ourselves. We cannot confine ourselves to the 4+2 or 4+6. My friends, the challenges that are being aroused in the community or in the society, the role and the responsibility of the church is to combat with those challenges from time to time. Respond to the need. Respond to the necessary. Respond to the challenges. He says, whoever does according to the will of my Father becomes my member of the community. And Timothy, he has given beautiful instructions. Paul gives Timothy a beautiful instruction. He talks about the breakdowns in a family. Today, the whole family life is changed. Morning, son goes to the work, and evening, daughter-in-law goes to the work. If at all, if children wants to see both the parents, they have to wait for the day of Sabbath, that is Saturday, or till Sunday. They have to wait to have the companionship of both the parents. And there are fewer marriages. Young generation are not showing interest towards a marriage. More cohabitations, more living together relationships. There are children out of wedlocks, broken homes, single parents. Role of a family unit in the society is increasingly neglected. And all kinds of influences, individual achievements and success it has become a disadvantage and families are spending less time together. Broken families have become quite common in our societies. Keeping this in view, in the recent past, all you who have blessed me to be in Singapore, there was a debate how to restore the family system. I was surprised to know that the Singapore present government has brought lots of tremendous changes in their parliament. They have taken lots of care. They have given more leave policies to the parents. And they have given paternity leave for the fathers. Have you come across? The paternity leave is given to the fathers in smart city Singapore. And they are taking account of it, how many hours the quality time is being spent to the families. The working stress are estranging and weakening the relationship, as a result of which the violence among the children, the domestic violence against the children are being at its height. In this context, God gives promises to the family in the scriptures, because for God, family is a basic unit. He is after the family. He has given commandments. He has given instructions. In the book of Ephesians, after going there, you can just go through it. Chapter 5, in Ephesians chapter 6, where the responsible children, parents are being discussed. And the promises in the Bible, we can see in the New Testament also. After going home, please go through the book of Acts, where Peter, chapter 2, he raises and talks about the gospel. He also says about the prominence of the children. And we can see the Philippian, the jailer, where the whole family was saved. And Lydia, a business tycoon of those days, her family was changed. The whole covenant applies not to an individual, but to the family. Thirdly, requirements of leadership in a Christian church is a family is very, very important. Paul says, until and unless you manage your family, you cannot manage my church hold. Therefore, take care of your families. And fourth one is something we know. There are good examples of the family. Quickly I close. One is the family of Noah. Have you ever thought what exactly would have gone through in the life of Noah? The whole world was one side. And we always say Shabbat to Noah. But to get that applause for Noah, don't you think that the whole family, his 3 sons, 3 daughter-in-laws, have just walked with Noah? Can you imagine how Noah have managed the whole family unit with faith, which is not visible to the naked eyes? Was it not challenging to Noah to keep 3 sons, maybe 1 wife and 3 daughter-in-laws on one single track? Spending all the money, all the wealth he has started spending, pouring down for the things which are not seen. The Google is not showing the rains or the floods, but still Noah is preparing ark. Isn't it ridiculous, rubbish, stupid? Imagine the plight what Noah has undergone for years together to keep them on track until the revelation of God has come true. That was the reason he says, I like Noah. And second thing, even the family of Abraham. It is very clearly mentioned, my friends, in the book of Genesis. Because of Abraham's family, I liked Abraham. After going home, go through the book of Hebrews chapter 11. And third one, I close it. Book of Jeremiah, there we find family by name Jonathan. And my friends, the principles of a Christian family members must be committed to one another. As I told you, 1 Timothy chapter 5 and 2. Family members must be committed to the Lord. Full stop. This is a Christian family. Forget not, God has brought you and placed you in that family. Trust this. In whatever family you are in, God has placed you. It was not your choice. Whoever may be your siblings, God has brought them in your life. And thirdly, you are in a family. You are a servant. You are called, you are placed there to serve one another with nishkama karma. And fourthly, trust Lord. God has been faithful all through generations. He will be faithful with you. He will never disregard you. He will uphold